live today, and I am really grateful to be here with you. I've been thinking all day. I was going to do this morning at 7 or 8, not 7, probably 8 or 9 o'clock. And I got to thinking, what would be really valuable for someone? And you may not find this valuable, you individual, but individually, I hope you do. I do this because I've been thinking all day about what constitutes the core of our lives day to day. We get up and we go through activities. Maybe they're work, maybe they're designed to make money, maybe they're designed to have fun, maybe they're designed to create or deepen relationships, maybe they're just designed to binge watch Netflix today. I don't know. What I have discovered is that when I choose to live on purpose, I have more fun. Days are joyful. Now, that doesn't mean some completely random days aren't fun as anything. They are. And when I have very many of those, I don't feel fulfilled. I don't know. Maybe you do. When I feel like bubbling joyful, is when I'm doing stuff on purpose. So I had a couple of classes I taught yesterday and several this week. And I'm always teaching classes and also coaching clients and doing that because that's what I do. It's what I love to do. I'm doing it on purpose. I realized the other day or the other year, I don't have to do anything. I do not have to do anything. Every single thing that I do, videos that I make, songs that I write, books that I'm writing. I have 2 classes right now of eager authors who are powerfully getting ready and telling their stories. They're writing books. They're into getting big outlines and powerful purpose and creating frameworks. I love doing that because I love lighting the fire of expression in them. When they get to this moment, I had one of them say to me this week, they just said, and we've been doing a lot of learning and a lot of work and everything, but they said, this is finally really landing for me. Whoops, I popped myself bigger. Didn't mean to do that. This is landing for me. It's coming together. And I have a framework I use to teach people how to write books that are about their own stories, about their life journey, not a memoir, not a tell-all, but an intentional book to mine the gold of your own journey, your hero's journey, your developmental story, because where you are today is beautiful. It may not be where you think you want to be. It may be a lot of stuff, but where you are today is a beautiful thing. And when we understand that and we stop fighting with reality, chafing against something and thinking, I should be somewhere else, I should be further along, I should be this, I should be that. All that does is tear your heart out and it builds more of the same because we're putting the energy of out about not wanting this. And all you get is more this. The not wanting gets lost in translation. So that's why today's called For the Love of Creation. For the love of creation, because every moment you and me as a divine being crafted by the creator of the universe, we're creating our lives. What are we created out of? Well, we created out of the work of our hands, but more than that, and before that, we created out of the intention and energy of our thoughts. Even the story of creation, there was speaking before there was action. And before there was speaking, there had to be thought and intention. God knew what he was going to create, a world. He knew what it was going to look like. He knew what we were going to look like. All that happened ahead of time. It is so with us. So you and I as divine beings, we get to build our lives on purpose. And I didn't used to know that, and I used to stumble around chafing and being angry about all the things that happened around me or to me. I don't do that anymore. And you know what? It's made life so much fun. Somebody asked me the other day when I started one of the classes, how you doing? And I was feeling so fun. I just said, I'm ridiculous. And they burst out laughing. What do you mean you're ridiculous? And I said, I am. And some people might take that literally and think you're ridiculous, Kellen. And maybe to them, I am, and that's okay. Be ridiculous. Be joyful. Be creative. Why? Because you can. The energy of creation you put out is real and stuff happens. Mirror neurons. You start laughing, someone else laughs. You yawn, I yawn. That happens. That is energy we put out, creative energy. So since your essence is divine and you're designed and built to create, then why don't we do it on purpose? Instead, what we often do is we get addicted to mediocrity, or we have this idea that we're helpless. We have a learned helplessness. And it's not true unless we allow it to be true. So, I've written a whole bunch of books, and all of them have one or more of these elements. Like, you are a divine being. You have a mission and purpose. So do I. You have gifts and talents. So do I. And you know what? I'd love to meet you. I'd love to see and experience your gifts and talents. So if you hear this and you feel like you want to chat, go to this URL up here, KellenFlukigerMedia.com, and there's a contact form there. You know why? Because I love meeting other divine beings who are committed to adding good to the world. And so if you're saying, you know what, I'm trying to change the world too, then let's talk and see how we can do more together. Because my mission this year, in fact, by October 14th, which is just under 7 months, is to reach 300 million people. And I've got 1,000 YouTube videos up on my channel, and I'm coming up on 1,000 podcasts, and I do these lives and all kinds of different ways to do that. But it isn't just me. I want to amplify your message. So I'm inviting all those who have a message, whose your life experience has led you to feel like you have something valuable to offer. Determination, conviction, resilience, insight, love, lifting, blessing. I want to amplify your message. I've had hundreds of guests on all my different shows, and I have been blown away by their stories, and I want to be blown away by yours. You are divinely gifted. You have a mission and purpose. You have the gifts and talents you need to make it happen. And you know what? All the help we need is available. I just didn't know how to access it for the longest time. Today, I've become the ultimate alchemist to help you access tools you don't know you have, power you don't know you control, so you can change the world. And I know it all sounds like crazy, but it's not. What are you waiting for? I'll tell you what I used to be waiting for. Fear. I used to be waiting for certainty that I wouldn't fail, get embarrassed, look stupid, or fall on my face. Or the fear of what somebody or some group of somebody's was going to think of me. And I don't feel that way anymore. And that change has provided me with ultimate liberation. Can you imagine for a minute if you weren't afraid to do what you wanted to do, what you felt called to do, to add good to the world, like to lift and bless? I talk to so many people that say, oh, I just love helping people. Well, we're built that way. But you know what? Most of us don't do it, or we do it about this much when we could do a barrel full. What would it be like if you chose, or we chose together, to add good to the world on purpose every day just because we can? To lift, to bless, to coach, to serve is, the good word. We always use all these cliche words. But that's the truth of our nature. So what I needed to do, I needed to master my fear. I did. I no longer experience fear. I wrote that journey in a book called Walking Without Fear. I created a course, kind of funny, called Master Your Monsters, because of the fears. I have no time. I'm good enough. It's not my fault. Who would listen anyway? Nobody cares. Those kinds of monsters that show up in our mind. I also wrote another book, and every book I've written is because I needed it, called The Results Equation, because it struck me that as I was trying to accomplish things earlier in my coaching career. Now, I had a 30-year career from 77 to 2007. My life completely radically changed in 2007, end of seven. And in the 18 years since then, I've been doing nothing except this service jazz I'm blubbering about. And it's the most fun I've ever had in my life. Nothing has been more delightful than that. And, I've still got shrapnel on the battlefields left over from 30 years of depression and self-sabotage. But every minute and every day of it, I'm facing with glee, ridiculous, fun, joyful. Often I'll say outrageous, and somebody will say, what does that mean? And I just have fun with it because every single day is the best day of my life. For the love of creation. Do you have something you want right now that's not in your grasp? Like you're here and you want to be here? Anything, doesn't matter. Health, wealth, relationship. Is that true for you? If it is, I want you to just take a minute, slow down, and ask, why don't you have that? Why isn't that the truth of your life right now? Now, if I say to me, how come I haven't already reached my 300 million goal? My answer is, I'm not sure exactly why. And I know exactly what I'm engaged in so that it will be an absolute certainty. I am going to do that. I don't think I've reached that yet. So I'm here and I want to get here. But I have no doubt or fear about that path. Whatever broken glass, whatever difficulties, whatever mountains I have to climb, however many shows I have to be on or people I have to have as guests or, I'm in every day, all day. Now, if you want something, I said, think of something you want, you don't have. The question I've had to ask myself is, in order to embody or to demonstrate the creative power I talked about, I got to ask myself, what's it worth? What am I actually willing to do to get there, to have it? Because, this is a road, and it might be really steep or it might be kind of slow. It depends on how big the goal is and how short a time I got to get it. I got 300 million to reach by October 14th, so that's a little 6.5 months, a little more. And I've already reached a lot. We've done a lot. So, it's going to be a steep road. And I'm going to get up every day and get after it. And I'm going to keep thinking of new ways. And if you've got any ideas about how I can increase that or grow that, I'm all ears. Because I want to share your message too. And you and I, we're going to lift the world. We're going to change the consciousness. We're going to elevate the capability. We're going to make a dent in the negativity, frustration, hatred, and bitterness that's floating around. Aren't you tired of that? Boy, I am. I want to lift and bless because we're built that way. I know you do too, for the joy of creation. So the things I do, what I do. I write books, I write music, I talk, I do videos, I, run classes, I coach. All of it is intended and focused on lifting and blessing every single person I can. Because maybe, like me, you're stuck in mediocrity. You're stuck in despair or feeling you're not good enough. Maybe you feel like, fear is running the show, or procrastination and self-sabotage are right behind. Maybe you have the loudest, your inner critic's the loudest voice in your choir. What if you knew exactly what to do to change that game so you could win every goal, so you could complete every mission you set out to do? You think that's impossible? It's not, because you have infinite power, but I'll bet you're not using it fully. So your creation, whatever it is, business, art, wealth, health, service, church, community, how bad do you want to hit that goal? You know what? The deepest joy is in creation. Is not in what you gain or what I gain, but it's in who we serve. How many people can we lift? How many? And if we don't do it, who's going to do it? So I invite you to join me. I invite you to decide who you want to serve, how you want to do it. Maybe you want to write a book this URL right here, dreambuildwriteit.com. I just ran a challenge in February and it's the end of March. I'm going to run another one first week of June. So go there and check it out. Maybe I can help you write your book and create your product or service to add good to the world and make a living, make some money. Maybe you can do that too. Maybe it's not your time to do that. I don't know. But I know that sitting around doing nothing will not give you the joy of creation. And living stuck to our stories of inadequacy or our fear of judgment, that's not going to create the joy of creation. Leaning into our divine capabilities, that will. And you know what else? The last thing I'll share with you. The most important thing that I did to make the radical changes that happened in my life was I had to get help. I'd lived my first 52 years isolated. I didn't understand how to get the kind of help that I needed. I'd never had a coach or a mentor before that. And since then, I've had a whole bunch of them, and it's made all the difference. It has turned me from where I was, which was sad and sorry, into a powerhouse of love, creativity, and service. I love you. I believe in you. If I can help you, let me know. See you tomorrow.